Nepal Film Production gives you all the relevant services you need for your filming experience here in Nepal. We provide you production assistance, we acquire the relevant permits, we will look after transportation, logistics, we will look after accommodation, we'll also recommend locations, we will handle technical requirements if you have any, and also we will be sure that everything is delivered with perfection. Nepal Film Production has a lot of experience, but that being said, what good is any experience if we're unable to share our advancement with our upcoming clients? So that is what we promise. So while you come to Nepal, or before you come to Nepal, you have to acquire relevant filming permits. You have to get in touch with the Ministry of Information and Communication. You have to get approval from the Nepalese Film Development Board. If you're bringing on equipments, then you also have to get custom clearance permits. You also have to get special location permits for any specific heritage-based locations. If you are to film in high altitudes, then you would need an ACAP permit or a specific approval from the domestic VDC, meaning Village District Community. So these are the general processes of acquiring a filming permit in Nepal. But again, your production requirements can be different. So the filming permit acquisition is different in accordance to each and every location. Drone permits can be a bit confusing in Nepal. The general time of acquiring a drone permit would be roughly 45 days because there's a large step to acquire the relevant permits. So obviously we have to get our national filming permit first. After that, we would have to get authority from the Civil Aviation Authority. We would also have to get approval from the Defense Ministry and Home Ministry. Drones in general are very sensitive in Nepal. So because when it was 2015, when the earthquake had come, many people flew drones illegally over government-based bodies. And since then, it has been very strict to acquire aerial permits in Nepal. But while acquiring aerial permits in Nepal, we also have to submit the serial number of the drone. We also have to assure that we're not flying in a red zone. And we also have to coordinate with local authorities and inform the police every time before we fly the drone. Flying a drone in Kathmandu is technically impossible, but there are certain locations that allow you to film in Nepal. Generally, working in different countries, like let's say, for example, filming in China or India, drones may not be seen as a major issue. But considering the fact that at 2011, Nepal was declared to be a country of tourism, drone permits are rather sensitive. So the Defense Ministry, the Home Ministry, the Civil Aviation Authority, the relevant ministries that are involved while acquiring a drone permit or even a filming permit, they are very sure and very careful with the type of information we give out or we give access to. Like certain locations may be restricted, certain topics may be restricted, because considering the fact that we're a country of tourism, the government thinks that we should handle information very carefully. For liaison officers, it's a different story. So this may be very confusing for an international production company. So while filming in Nepal, the government always makes sure that we are provided a certain numbers of liaison officers. So maybe a ministry may or may not send relevant liaison officers for your production. I mean, that again varies on your production. So if it's a very large production, then they would send supervisors to make sure that the production is going on as planned and as per the information is given to the relevant ministry saying that we're going to be filming this or that. So that being taken into account, liaison officers act as a supervising party on behalf of the relevant ministers and ministries, so that making sure that all filming activities are based on legal-based activities. A general filming permit without drone permits could be acquired in 15 working days. We could do it a bit faster, but we always like to be safe. So let's just say it's around 10 to 15 days to acquire a national filming permit. If drones come on the scene, then it's 45 days. But if you need high altitude locations, such as Region A locations or ACAP locations or ACAP permits, then it's a different story. It can consist from anywhere from 40 to 45 to 50 days, but that's in total. But we recommend that permits are acquired at least 2 months in advance, because there are a lot of political instabilities, there are a lot of holidays, and of course there are a lot of government-based issues, which means that most bodies are sometimes closed and sometimes not closed. So Planning ahead for the safety of acquiring permits is always very necessary and highly recommended, I would say. National park permits can be a bit different. Each national park has their own law. Let's say, for example, if we were to film in Lamjung National Park, it's a different story. If we were to film in Chitwan, filming tigers in a national park in the humid areas, in the jungle areas, then it's a different story. So each national park permit would be absolutely different. The requirements change almost on a monthly basis because the Nepalese government is still trying to advance the rules and regulations and obviously upgrade the policies in order to maintain quality. But in order to acquire a national filming permit and also a national park permit, I would say it takes around anywhere from 30 to 35 days. So generally, when it comes to heritage permits while filming in Nepal, three major names pop up. One, Patun Darbar Square, one, Kathmandu Darbar Square, and third, Bhaktapur Darbar Square. So Patun Darbar Square is currently going through renovation. And because of that, they're not allowing much filming, but I'm sure they will very soon. Besides that, Kathmandu Darbar Square has some restricted areas because of the involvement of the living goddess Kumari, but there are some locations where we can film to get the antique, old feel for your film production experience here in Nepal.